Today, Madam President, I come here again to the floor of the United States Senate to honor and to remember another young Ohio soldier. Another young Ohio soldier who served proudly in the 101st Airborne Division. Another young soldier who lost his life bravely defending our nation and fighting to give a better life of freedom and liberty to the people of Iraq. Madam President, members of the Senate, Sergeant Brett Thomas Christian was born on December 5th, 1975. Growing up, Brett's life was not always easy. Like a lot of families, he and his mother Tess and brothers Sloan and Derek moved around a lot. And as a young child, Brett was in and out of a number of schools, leaving old friends and making new ones each time. The family eventually settled in the Cleveland, Ohio area, and for a time Brett attended Richmond Heights High School. Brett adapted well to new environments and learned how to quickly make new friends. People liked Brett. They were drawn to him. He had a great sense of humor, an easy-going demeanor. The first thing people remembered about Brett is his wit, his smile, his charm. His brother Derek said, "You couldn't be sad around him. He was just a funny guy." But Brett also had a serious side. He was a smart person, smart kid. He read a lot. In fact, he started reading at a very early age and ended up 2 years ahead in school. As his brother Sloan said, he was always so smart. He blew away all the tests that he took. Brett was also a hard worker. His uncle remembers how he took a physically demanding job at a tropical fish farm. And each day Brett would travel on his bike 5 miles there and 5 miles back. Rain or shine, Brett rode those 10 miles to and from work, laboring tirelessly to get the job done, and yes, done well. He dreamed of opening a restaurant one day with his Richmond Heights High School buddy, Jonathan Wilkie. He completed his GED and decided to enlist in the U.S. Army. Brett's mom, Tess, said that he was born to serve, that he always wanted to be a soldier. She said, "My son believed in honor and loyalty and good character, all those things." And so, Madam President, members of the Senate, Brett was assigned to Company C, 2nd Battalion of the 502nd Infantry of the 101st Airborne Division. Trained to be a sniper and served a year in Korea before being called then to Iraq. Brett's job in Iraq was to drive a 2.5-ton diesel carrier. It was grueling and dangerous work. Sergeant Shane Harris described Brett as one of his most dependable drivers. He was able to log 20-hour days moving soldiers, loads of ammunition, thousands of gallons of fuel, and pallets of bottled water and MREs and other things. Brett was one of the first American soldiers to cross the line into Iraq. Sergeant John Ryan recalled how he sent Brett in to push a line forward to secure a bridge. He said that he chose Brett because he was certainly up for it. And I quote, "He believed in what we were there for. He knew what needed to be done. He knew how to lead from the front. He was sniper qualified. He was mission responsible. He was good under stress. He had a good head on his shoulders. He could always analyze and develop a course of action quickly." On that same mission, Madam President, it was later learned that some of our trucks got lost in Iraq after crossing the line. And not surprisingly, it was Brett who found them and, yes, got them out. On July 23, 2003, Sergeant Brett Christian was killed, and seven others were wounded near Mosul, Iraq, when his convoy was ambushed by rocket-propelled grenades and small arms fire. He was 27 years old. Madam President, Brett Christian was buried in the hallowed ground of Arlington National Cemetery on August 7, 2003. At that service, Major Douglas Fenton called Brett an American hero. He received the Purple Heart and Bronze Star. There is no question, Madam President, members of the Senate, that Brett Thomas Christian was a good man, a good son, brother, grandson, friend, and soldier. He was kind. He was compassionate. As his mother said, they say the eyes are the windows of the soul. His eyes swelled with emotion. They were bright and welcoming. At a memorial service for Brett in Ohio, Pastor Rick Duncan movingly described the kind of man Brett Christian became. This is what he said. He was resourceful. He was gracious, never malicious. He never showed any sort of prejudice about anyone. He was responsible, uplifting, thoughtful. He was a man of action. He was a charmer. And ultimately, Mr. President, Madam President, Brett Christian was a true warrior. Brett Christian made a lot of choices in his life. He chose to look at the positive, not the negative. He chose to see the good things in life and in people, not the bad. He chose to face fear and adversity head on and fight against the evil in our world. According to Brett's grandmother, Eileen, the last time he was home, he explained to his younger brother, who had indicated an interest in joining the military, exactly why he joined the Army. He wanted his brother to understand that he believed in what he was doing, that he believed in helping people and serving our country. Madam President, let me conclude with something Sloan said about his beloved brother. And I quote, "Brett had the most potential of anyone in the family, anyone I know. He's a beautiful soul who could have changed so much of the world. He had the love and ability to change a lot of the world." Madam President, Brett Christian did change the world. Brett Christian did make a difference. Brett's family, his mother Tess, his brothers Derek and Sloan, his grandparents Thomas and Eileen, remain in my thoughts and my prayers. And President, I thank the chair and I yield the floor.